Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Wednesday, 28th February 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Priest in St. Lucia blames delinquent parents for the country's crime problem. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Bobano Good Shepherd Catholic Church parish priest, Father Albert Smith, has called out parents for their part in the spate of violence affecting the country. According to him, the current situation in St. Lucia is a result of parents failing to discipline their children and to instill right values in them. With the island's homicide toll already at 19, the parish priest is calling for a sense of order to return to the country. Here is Miriam Montoute of the DBS News World with more.
Father Albert Smith has called out parents for contributing to the spate of violence affecting the country. Only 2 months into the year, the island has recorded 19 homicides and several chopping and shooting incidents, many of which involve juveniles and youth. While several have pointed fingers of blame at political leaders and the police force, Father Albert has called on parents to take accountability for the situation facing the country.
Too many parents are raising their children badly. That is why we have, go and do your research. All those killings and all those crimes, do the background of the people committing them. And come back and tell me. Come back and tell me.
In addition, the parish priest says that the ball was dropped when corporal punishment was removed from schools. He had some harsh words for Roman Catholics for sitting idly by and watching the situation unfold.
We dropped the ball as a country when we stopped corporal punishment in school. We dropped the ball when we tried to take out prayers in school. And we as Catholics, we stood by idly because it was my government doing it. They've been hypocrite. It was my government doing it. I will not speak out against my government. The only person you must not speak out against is God.
Father Albert's comments were made during his homily on Sunday. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
In the meantime, Acting Prime Minister Dr. Ernest has warned criminals that the country will not surrender in the face of gun violence that is alarmingly becoming a fixated part of life on the island with almost weekly killings. Zane Romulus of the DBS News World reports.
The persons that are involved in criminal activity should take note that we are not going to surrender. We're not going to.
The words of Acting Prime Minister Dr. Ernest as he reacted to the island's latest homicides. Just 2 months into the year, the country faces a tally of 19 homicides. Speaking on Monday's pre-cabinet presser, an impassioned Hilaire stressed the need to ensure citizen safety amidst the challenges with managing the rise in violence.
It is challenging, it is difficult, but we're not going to give in. Because to do so is to lose our country, to lose exactly who we are as a people and what we exist for. So we have to control it. And persons that are involved in crime should take note that we're not going to surrender. It's not going to be easy. We are going to fight, and we are going to ensure that law-abiding citizens in this country can feel safe.
The Acting Prime Minister is optimistic that the country will overcome this current challenge and see better days ahead.
We are going to win this battle. This is not just about us. That's for the generations to come as well. Because if we cannot stop it now, think of what's going to happen in years to come. Think about it. So persons who are involved in criminal activity cannot be seen as our allies. They cannot be seen as persons that should get a free pass. They have to be held accountable. And we must support the police to make sure they have the capacity to be able to deal with those situations. I mean, all social problems individuals have, there must always be a way in which government can support them to ensure we address it. I'm not saying people don't have social problems, but we have to find a way as a government, as a society, to address those, social problems. But it cannot descend into total lawlessness and chaos.
Dr. Hilaire has reiterated that policymakers will continue to provide the necessary resources to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force to do their jobs while leaving the operational matters to the lawmen. For the DBS News World, I am Zane Romulus.
President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernanda, comments on the crime fight while admitting both the church and government have to get involved in stemming the tide. More in this ZNS News item.
And Bahamas Christian Council President Delton Fernanda admits that both the church and the public bear an equal responsibility in reducing crime.
In our conversation with the gang leaders, it was something that was brought forth that if I change my life, I might be a target. I might be someone that people take out because they quote unquote think I'm light or I'm not on my game. We acknowledge that. We are concerned about that. And we're trying to find paths of even moving them out of these environments. I think we make a mistake when we think it's going to happen just by one event. It's a multifaceted problem that requires all stakeholders to get involved. We've got to be creative. We've got to fight crime in the way we see crime today. And we got to do it as a system. It's a system-wide problem that our society has to own. That is the Bahamas. And each place in our society must work together to fix it.
In the meantime, the police in the Bahamas speak out on resolving conflicts peacefully.
Resolving conflicts peacefully is a message police hope takes roots in the minds of young men in particular in light of this latest homicide. Second officer in charge of the Grove Police Station, Superintendent Keith Ferguson, says a number of crime initiatives take place in that community.
We have mobile patrols. We also have walkabouts within the community. No longer than yesterday, 240 Street. It saddened me to know that last week, Monday, we had a 15-year-old was shot and killed. We had a prayer and walkabout in conjunction with Highway Church of God, the South Central Division, along with our community policing section of the Roban Police Force. It's very, very successful, but it's a team effort.
He too calls for a collaborative approach in tackling crime.
The criminals working together every day. We as a community needs to work together. It starts with the family, okay? And by extension, the churches, the different civic organizations, we need to come together to fight this monster called crime.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Haiti formed part of the discussion of the Caribbean Community CARICOM leaders on Monday in the 46th regular summit being hosted in Guyana. More in this TTT news item with Mahalia Joseph Wharton.
Before the day's discussion began, CARICOM Chairman President of Guyana, Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali, in addressing the regional media, said he was hopeful that during discussions in the business session CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, that CARICOM would be able to point the Haitian people in a direction where solutions can be achieved.
And of course, this requires all stakeholders in Haiti, especially to give a bit, to compromise a bit, and to express a collective willingness to achieve the outcomes that we are setting ourselves to achieve.
As it pertains to climate change, he said CARICOM continues to advance the region's position in climate change financing, adaptation, and mitigation.
A fairer mechanism through which new loans are secured for developing world in keeping with the just transition and in keeping with the objective of all of us achieving our climate targets. An important issue in the region is the building of SMEs, and we'll be looking at ways in which the region can work on enhancing the work of SMEs, in which our partners can help us.
President Ali said food and energy security were two important topics also to be discussed.
How do we ensure not only we meet the 25 by 2025 target, but now advance work on ending hunger and malnutrition in the region by 2030, the type of investment that is required, the commitment from our international partners to support sustainable and resilient food systems, the integration of Northern Brazil in our work, and later this week we will have President Lula here to have a CARICOM Brazil meeting to discuss greater collaboration and cooperation between Brazil and the region.
The CARICOM chair also mentioned that the time has come for the Caribbean to have a regional energy plan that looks at the future of all forms of energy.
And to see how the region can be self-sufficient, how we can guard against inflationary pressures, and how we can become a net exporter of energy, especially as we move towards renewables and transitional fuel.
President Ali said during the retreat format discussions, leaders will review their progress and self-evaluate to make strong interventions and commitments to resolve issues in the region. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TTT News.
Guyana's president and CARICOM chair, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, urged member states to remove their trade barriers within CARICOM at the opening ceremony of the 46th regular heads of government meeting of CARICOM. Sunil Lala of TTT News has more from Georgetown, Guyana.
At the opening ceremony for the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting, Guyana's president and chair of CARICOM, Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali, called on citizens in the Caribbean to put pressure on member states to remove trade barriers, saying it's of no use to the region.
We are too small to be competing against each other. People of this region, call upon your leaders to remove these barriers. Let them hear you loudly. These barriers need to go and must go urgently.
Dr. Ali, who has now taken up the mantle from outgoing chair Roosevelt Skerritt, also took a shot at certain lyrics from artists in the Caribbean, noting that lyrics of positivity and positive change are fundamental for the region.
Only recently, Prime Minister Rowley and I were having a conversation when many young people, young, brilliant people, questioned the decision of not having a certain artist perform in the country because that artist is on an Interpol red list.
President Ali also touched on a proposed regional ferry between TNT, Barbados and Guyana, saying it has attracted interest.
We will have a single window operating in all the countries. We're starting with Guyana, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago as the test, and only announcing that we are already getting tremendous private sector interest to take this in the wider region, and this will be an important development for our region.
He said regional security will continue to be a major topic during discussions.
We are working with the US, we are working with the UK, we are working with our friends in CELAC to enhance regional security. But it remains a daunting task because we have expansive waters to cover.
The 46th regular CARICOM Heads of Government meeting is expected to end on Wednesday. Sonolala, TTT News, Georgetown, Guyana.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give It's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.